What if Neo was in MHA? Chapter 1. A different perspective. All men are not created equal. This is the reality I learned about society at the young age of 4, Deku thought, remembering the time Bakugo and his friends beat him up with their quirks after trying to defend another boy. Was it unfair? Of course it wasn't. Why should people born with power be able to abuse it and suffer no consequence? There are supposed to be laws that prevent this type of thing from happening, and while public abuses of power are dealt with, Deku thought, as he saw a giant villain was rampaging. The hidden abuse is rarely dealt with, Deku thought. But man, turning into a monster's an amazing quirk. What did he do? A bystander asked. He stole someone's bag and went out of control when he was cornered, another bystander answered. A quirk like that and he's a bag snatcher, the first bystander said. And the root cause of why people become villains is never dealt with, Deku thought. Illegal use of powers during rush hour and robbery resulting in bodily injury. You are the incarnation of evil, Kamui Woods said. The incarnation of evil? I mean, sure, he's a bad person, but I wouldn't say trying to steal a bag and panicking when he was cornered is the incarnation of evil. You don't know his background, where he comes from, what he's had to deal with in life. Why weren't the heroes there to help him not become a criminal, Deku thought. Show us something flashy, Treeman, a bystander yelled. Preemptive binding lacquered chain prison, Kamui Woods yelled. Oh. A binding attack. That's something you don't seem happen a lot. Maybe I misjudged this guy. Usually, heroes just, Deku thought. Canyon Cannon, a giant woman yelled, kicking the villain off the railway bridge and into the road. Hit them until they fall, Deku thought. A bunch of men begin taking pictures of the giant woman. Money shot, money shot, money shot, the men repeated. Today is the day of my debut. My name is Mount Lady, the giant woman introduced herself. A pleasure to make your acquaintance, Mount Lady said, sticking her ass out. Money shot, money shot, money shot, the men repeated again. Perverts. I bet you'd like to be crushed by her giant ass. And what really differentiates heroes from villain? A piece of paper saying that you have the legal right to beat up people who use their quirks without themselves being a hero. Even if you do more damage than the villains. He destroyed an electrical pylon and blocked road and rail travel, but that's it. Whilst you damage the bridge and road, you've just caused even further delays to others. Why are you the hero, Deku thought. She's getting the credit, Kamui Woods said. Yes. Yes, she is. I hope for the best for you, Kamui Woods. One day you may become a true hero, Deku thought. Deku then left the scene and headed to school. Now, you may be wondering why I have this point of view. Well, it's all because of one girl. My best friend, Trivia Vanille. She showed me the perspective of the world from a criminal. As she is the infamous Mint, second hand to the equally infamous, Roman Torchwich, the kingpin of the criminal underworld of Mujutafu. Deku then arrived at Aldera Junior High and saw Neo outside waiting for him. Hey Triv, Deku said. Neo smiled at Deku, and then the two entered the school. The two had been friends since their first year at Aldera Junior High. Deku was the only person who interacted with her and treated her with kindness. And she was the only one who stood up for him. And by stood up, it was actually beating the shit out of anyone who hurt Deku. The first time she did so, she was suspended for a month, while Bakugo and his friends only got 2 weeks. During her month of suspension, Deku would visit her every day after school and soon they became very close. So close in fact that they didn't need to speak to each other, which was very useful as Neo couldn't speak. She had suffered irreversible damage to her throat, all thanks to the hands of a so-called hero who happened to like young girls. Thankfully that hero was now dead, killed by Roman Torchwich himself, who also saved Neo and became her hero. After hearing her story, Deku vowed to become a hero that would change society for the better. As it should be the heroes fighting for a brighter and freer tomorrow, and not the villains. The two now arrived at class and split off, Unfortunately Neo sat at the front of the class, while Deku sat at the back, behind Bakugo. So, since you're all third years, it's time for you to think seriously about your futures. I'll pass out handouts for your future plans now, but the teacher said, grabbing a stack of papers. You're all pretty much planning to go into the hero course, right? The teacher asked, throwing the stack of papers. Many of the students activated their quirks and cheered. Yes, yes, you all have wonderful quirks. But using your powers at school is against the rules, the teacher said. Teach. Don't lump us all in the same group. I'm not gonna be stuck at the bottom with the rest of these rejects, Bakugo said. That was uncalled for, Katsuki, a student said. You all should shut up like the extras you are, Bakugo yelled. Oh, if I remember correctly, you want to go to UA High, right, Bakugo, the teacher asked. UA. That national school, a student said. It was in the top 0.2% this year, you know, another student said. Their acceptance rate is always really low, a third student said. That's exactly why you guys are just extras. I aced the mock test. I'm the only one at this school who could possibly get into UA. I'll definitely surpass All Might and become the top hero. My name will be inscribed on the list of top earners, Bakugo yelled. Oh yeah, Midoriya wanted to go to UA, too, right? The teacher asked. Deku shrunk into his seat. All of the students then began to laugh at Deku. Ha! Midoriya. No way, a student said. You can't get into the hero course just by studying, another student said. They got rid of that rule. There's just no precedent, Deku said. Bakugo then smashed through Midoriya's desk with his hand, setting off a small explosion and caused Deku to fall out of his seat. Hey, Deku, Bakugo yelled. Ah, Deku said. You're below the rejects. You're quirkless. How can you even stand in the same ring as me, Bakugo yelled, forcing Deku back to the wall as he got closer. No, wait, Kaken. It's not like I'm trying to compete with you or anything. Believe me. It's just that it's been my goal ever since I was little. And well, I won't know unless I try, Deku said. What do you mean, unless you try? Are you taking the test for fun? What the hell can you do? You're quirkless, Bakugo yelled. Bakugo was the hit in the back of the head by a book. What? Bakugo yelled, turning around to see that it was Neo who threw the book. You wanna go mute, bitch? Why do you even stand up for this loser? Bakugo yelled. Neo began to walk up to Bakugo. Alright. That's enough. Everyone get back in your seats or you will be serving detention, the teacher said. Bakugo and Neo glared at each other before going back to their seats, and now allowing Deku to get back into his seat. Class then began. Hours later school had ended, and the students began to leave. Hey, let's go to karaoke, a student said. Sure, nothing better to do, another student replied. The incident this morning is all over the headlines. And so is Mount Lady. Great. That'd be a big boost to her ego, Deku thought. Deku started to pack his bag, but then Bakugo took his notebook. We're not done talking yet, Deku, Bakugo said. Katsuki, what's that, a boy with long hair asked. Ha. Hero analysis for the future. Seriously. Ha ha ha. Futilda. Midoriya, a boy with short scraggy hair. It's fine, isn't it? Give it back, Deku said. Bakugo then used his quirk to set fire to the book. That's mean, Deku yelled. Bakugo then tossed the notebook out the window. What? Deku said. HMPH. Most top first-string heroes have stories about them from their school days. I want the shine of being able to be called the only student to make it into UA from this mediocre city junior high school. I mean, I'm a perfectionist, Bakugo said. Bakugo then placed his hand on Deku's shoulder and black smoke began to rise. So anyway, don't apply to UA, nerd. If you want to be a hero, then take a swan dive of the roof and hope for a quirk in your next life, Bakugo said. Neo the punched Bakugo, knocking him to the ground. Now it was just the 5 of them. Neo was free to do what she wanted. Bitch, Bakugo yelled. Bakugo went to hit Neo with an explosion. Neo dodged out of the way and grabbed Bakugo and proceeded to flip him over onto the ground. Neo was about to stop on his head, but Bakugo friends grabbed her and pulled her away. Are you crazy? The long hair boy asked. You were going to kill him, the short hair boy said. Neo just gave them a crazed look before breaking free from their hold. You were going to kill him. The heroes should lock you up now. Please. This bitch could never kill me, and I'll be the one to bring her in. It'll be my ticket to number 1, Bakugo said. Neo just taunted Bakugo. Trivia. Stop. Please, Deku said. Neo calmed down and backed off. That's right. Listen to your master, you crazed dog, Bakugo said. Neo glared at Bakugo. Come on man, let's go before she paints the room red, the long hair boy said. I'll be the one painting the room, Neopolitain, Bakugo yelled, as he was dragged out of the room. Neo turned to see tears in Deku's eyes. Neo hugged Deku and held him tight. I know. I should stand up for myself, but I just can't, Deku said. Neo looked at Deku with concern. I just want to go home now, Deku said. Neo nodded and let Deku go. Deku picked up his bag and left the room. Neo then went to the window Bakugo had thrown Deku's notebook out of. She saw that the notebook had landed in a pond. She then saw Deku walk out to the pond. That's not fish food, stupid. That's my notebook, Deku said to himself. Deku retrieved his notebook. Stupid. NGH, stupid bastard. What if I did? I could destroy your career before it even began. Maybe I should if I don't make it. Then at least I can have the last laugh, Deku said to himself. Deku then began to think back to when he was younger, wanting to be a hero and then being told he was quirkiness, as he walked home. You decided back then, didn't you? That's right. Don't worry about what other people think. Hold your head up high and plunge forward, Deku thought. Deku then walked under a bridge with his head held high and began to laugh like All Might. A villain made of sludge began to emerge from the sewers. Deku then turned to see the villain. A villain, Deku asked. A medium-sized invisibility cloak, the sludge villain said. The sludge villain then attacked Deku and began to force himself inside Deku. Don't worry. I'm just going to take over your body. Calm down. It'll only hurt for about 45 seconds, the sludge villain said. I can't breathe, Deku thought. Deku started to grasp at the sludge villain. You can't grab me. I'm fluid. Thanks for your help. You're my hero. I didn't think that had come to this city, the sludge villain said. My body. There's no strength. I'm dying. Am I dying? I'm dying. Somebody. Somebody. No, Deku thought. The manhole cover flew off. It's all right now, young man. I am here, All Might said. The sludge villain attacked All Might, but All Might dodged and attacked. Texas smash, All Might yelled, sending strong air currents towards the sludge villain. The strong gust of wind blew the sludge villain off Deku. Deku saw a glimpse of All Might before passing out. A short while later Deku woke up to All Might tapping his face. Deku screamed and moved back. Oh, good, I'm glad you're okay. Sorry about getting you caught up in my villain fighting. I don't usually make mistakes like this, but I was in high spirits on my day off in a new place, All Might said, laughing. Deku was stunned silent. But you were a big help. Thanks, All Might said. All Might then held up a bottle with the captured sludge villain. I captured him safely, All Might said. The number 1 hero. All Might. He's the real thing. He looks completely different in person, Deku thought. Oh, right. An A autograph. Where should I Ah. In that notebook, Deku said. Deku opened his hero notebook to find All Might's autograph. He already did, Deku yelled. Deku bowed to All Might repeatedly. Thank you very much. It'll be an heirloom. A family treasure, Deku said. Okay. Well, I need to take this guy to the police. See you again on the other side of the screen, All Might said. Wait, already, Deku asked. Pros are constantly fighting enemies and time, All Might said. Wait. There are still things I want to ask, Deku thought. Well then, All Might said, as he prepared to jump away. I'm counting on your continued support, All Might said, jumping away. Wait, All Might said, as he felt something on his leg. He looked back to see Deku holding onto his leg. Hey, hey, hey. Let go of me. Your fanaticism is too much, All Might said. If I let go now, I'll die, Deku yelled. That's true, All Might said. I have a lot of things I want to ask you directly, Deku yelled. Okay. I got it, so close your eyes and mouth, All Might said. All Might then coughed and a bit of blood came from his mouth. Shit, All Might thought. All Might then landed on a rooftop. That was scary, Deku said. Good grief. If you talk to the people downstairs, I'm sure they'll let you down. I am seriously out of time, so I really must go, All Might said. All Might began to walk toward the edge of the building. Wait. Deku said. No. I will not wait, All Might said. But even if I don't have a quirk, can I become a hero, Deku asked. All Might stopped at the edge of the building. Can even someone without a quirk be like you, Deku asked, eyes closed. Meanwhile, Neo had returned to the hideout Roman used for his operations. And what are you doing back so early? I thought you wanted to spend the evening with your boyfriend, Roman asked. Neo kicked Roman. Right. He's not your boyfriend. There was trouble with that Pomeranian, wasn't there, Roman asked. Neo's face fell. Roman sighed. That boy would be a better villain than a hero. And Izuku really needs to stand up for himself, you won't always be around to protect him, Roman said. Neo gave Roman a look. No. You cannot kill the Pomeranian. You still need to finish your education, young missy, Roman said. Neo pouted. Hey. I will not have an uneducated second in command. You hear me, Roman asked. Neo sighed. Good, now come on, with you here now, we can hit our target early. You know the deal, Roman said. Neo grinned and then was covered in a pink, white and brown shimmer, and now Neo had black hair and green eyes. Back on the rooftop. Even if I don't have a quirk, can I become a hero? Can even someone without a quirk be like you, Deku asked. Without a quirk, All Might said. A shock of pain then ran through All Might's body. All Might's body began to release steam. Oh, no. Holy shit. Goddamn it, All Might said to himself. It might have been because I don't have a quirk, but I'm always made fun of. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But I think saving people is super cool. Saving people with a fearless smile. I want to be the greatest hero, like you, Deku said. The steam cleared, and now where All Might was standing was now a shriveled skinny man. Whoa. Deku screamed. You're deflating. Ha. Wait, up until now. Ha. Fake. A fake. You're so skinny, Deku said. I am All Might said, blood spewing from his mouth. No way, Deku yelled. You know how the guys at the pool are constantly flexing and posturing. It's like that, All Might said. No way. It can't be. All Might is fearless. He saves everyone with a smile. He's the greatest, Deku said. Ha. A fearless smile, ha. Now that you've seen me like this, young man, make sure you don't write about it online, even accidentally, All Might said. Ha, Deku said. All Might pulled his shirt up, revealing a large wound on his chest. It's an injury I got from an enemy's attack 5 years ago. Half of my respiratory organs were destroyed, and I lost my whole stomach. I've been emaciated from repeated surgeries and the after effects. Right now, I can only work as a hero for about 3 hours a day, All Might said. What? That can't be. 5 years ago. Was that when you fought Toxic Chainsaw? Deku asked. You're well informed. But a punk like that couldn't defeat me. This fight was not made public to the world. I asked that it not be made public. I will save people with a smile. The symbol of peace cannot be daunted by evil. I smile to show the pressure of heroes. And to trick the fear inside of me. Pros are always risking their lives. I cannot simply say, you can become a hero even without power, All Might said. I see, Deku said, face falling. If you want to help others, then you could also become a police officer. They are often teased because they get villains delivered to their doorstep, but that is also a fine occupation. It's not bad to dream. But you also have to consider what's realistic, young man, All Might said. All Might then exited the rooftop. As All Might walked down the stairs, he realized that the bottle the sludge villain was in was gone. He then saw an explosion in the distance. A villain. What hero will go to the scene? Deku asked. Deku rushed to the rooftop door, but the remember what All Might said and lost all interest. He began to walk home, thinking about what others had said to him about his dream, and he knew he couldn't be a hero all along. An explosion then shook the area. Is this where the explosion earlier was? Hang on. Does that mean I came out of habit without noticing? Deku thought. Deku then headed over to the crowd. Stop it. It'll just feel meaningless right now, Deku thought. Deku then noticed it was the sludge villain. Why is that guy here? Did it get away from All Might? Did he drop it? If he did, then it's my fault, Deku thought. Why aren't those heroes doing anything? A civilian asked. They can't. Apparently the villain caught a junior high schooler. It's been like that for a while, another civilian answered. Caught. It's been like that for a while. How can they bear that suffocation? I thought I'd die after a few seconds. Wow, Deku thought. Anyway, wasn't that villain the one All Might was chasing earlier? A civilian asked. All Might? No way. He's here, another civilian asked. I think I saw him earlier, a third civilian said. Seriously? Then what's All Might doing? The first civilian. It's my fault. He can't do anything, Deku thought. Pathetic, All Might thought. Deku then saw that the sludge villain had captured Bakugo and saw a fearful look on his face. Deku then began to run towards the sludge villain. Idiot. Stop. Stop, Death Arms yelled. That brat, the sludge villain said. Deku, Bakugo said. Why did I run out? What am I doing? Why, Deku thought. Die in an explosion, the sludge villain yelled. Deku took off his bag and threw it at the sludge villain, his books flying out of the bag and hitting the sludge villain in the face. This caused the sludge villain to release Bakugo's face, allowing him to breathe. Kaken, Deku yelled. Deku began to claw at the sludge villain. Why are you here? Bakugo asked. My legs moved on their own. I don't know why, though, Deku said. The sludge villain then covered Bakugo's mouth. Deku smiles tearfully at Bakugo. It looked like you were asking for help, Deku said. Stop it, Bakugo yelled, his head breaking free. All Might's body then began to grow into his hero form. Pathetic. Pathetic, All Might thought. Just a little longer. Don't get in my way, the sludge villain said. He'll die in vain. Is he suicidal? Death Arms asked. The sludge villain attacked, creating an explosion. I really am pathetic, All Might said, blocking the attack. All Might, Deku said. Even though I admonished you, I wasn't putting what I said into practice. All Might grabbed Bakuga's arm. Pros are always risking their lives. Detroit Smash, All Might yelled. All Might punches the sludge demon, blasting through its body entirely. All Might's attack then dissipates, and then rain began to fall. The crowd and other heroes were stunned by All Might changing the weather. Deku was scolded by the heroes for his actions, while Bakugo was praised for his toughness and quirk. A while later the two were allowed to leave. I wanted to apologize to All Might, but he was still getting interviewed. I'll try sending him a message on his website when I get home, Deku thought. Deku, Bakugo yelled. Deku turned to see Bakugo sprinting towards him. Kaken, Deku said. I never asked you for help. And you didn't help me. Got it. I was fine by myself. You're a quirkless failure playing without a full deck. Don't think you can look down on me. Are you trying to make me owe you? Don't look down on me, Bakugo yelled. Bakugo turned and marched off. You damn nerd, Bakugo said. He's right. It's not like I accomplished anything or changed anything. But I'm glad. Now I can think of a realistic future, Deku thought. All Might then appeared out of nowhere. I am here, All Might yelled. All Might. Why are you here? You were surrounded by reporters until just now, Deku said. Getting away from them was a piece of cake. Why? Because I am All Might said, then coughing up blood and returning to his true form. Young man, I come with thanks, a correction, and a suggestion, All Might said. How, Deku said. If you hadn't been there. If you hadn't told me about your life, I would have turned into a guy in a bodysuit who was all talk. Thank you, All Might said. That can't be. It was my fault in the first place. I got in the way of your work, and I said all those impertinent things even though I'm quirkless, Deku said. That's right. It was because it was none other than the timid, quirkless you at the scene that I was able to act, All Might said. How, Deku said. Top heroes have stories about them from their school days. Most of their stories have one thing in common. Their bodies moved before they had a chance to think, All Might said. Tears began to fill Deku's eyes. That was true for you, too, wasn't it? All Might asked. Yeah, Deku said. You can become a hero, All Might said. Deku began to sob. You are worthy to inherit my power, All Might said. How, Deku said. End of chapter 1.